workshop. The transformational power of storytelling and conversation.
It was just this little voice in the back of my head saying that I had to tell my story, that I had to own it.
Professional communicator or not, you are still in your everyday life a storyteller.
Beautiful Goonawarra and Bogong Mop there, I think. Yeah. Hi folks, good evening. Uncle Ringo, I'm known affectionately as by my mob here in my country. Happy survivor of the recent past, and Poets' Night sounds tempting. But you know, this is what it's about, isn't it? All the faces we've just seen on the screen, and I'm a bit of an oddity myself. I was born in 1964 when the Beatles came to Melbourne. That's how I got the bloody name Ringo. You know? So I pulled up in parking spot number 26 out the front. How lucky was that? On a Friday night in Naarm when the footy's on, yeah? And the line up the park, come up Little Lonsdale, was like the Eastern Freeway at 9 o'clock in the morning. But, you know, there's a lot that I want to say, but I don't have time tonight. But, you know, Stolen Gin, Parkville, 70s, Drunken Coppers and JPs and everything else that happened to us in Parkville and out at Bayswater. But everything that preceded that, you know. I go around. Who loves going to the second-hand shops around Melbourne? Put your hands up. Come on, put your hands up. So today I was, because I've got to give up the cigarettes, you know. I'm trying to celebrate me. But I think the welcome should be something that should be enjoyed, not something that's sombre, because we know that it's already sombre. And, you know, the reality of the injustice that's occurred against a fellow human being is incredibly, you know, constant today. Incredibly so, in my entire lifetime. You know, and I'm a gentle soul, well, I try to be. And I've tried to be that person all my life, you know, because I come from a royal bloodline. Who knew, you know? And royalty marries into royalty and so forth.
We can't hear clearly at the back. Can you speak a bit louder, kindly, please?
What'd you say? For sure, bro. Yeah. So, you know, we used to cruise around in these little bark canoes, eh? I got in Smith Street today. And then the sealers turned up. And they jumped in them with their skull and bones. But they must have seen the women paddling in these first and got the idea. You know, we can actually get the women to paddle to the islands and have our way with them as well. So I'll keep that and create little mini canoes for kids without that horrible attack. But it's deadly, you know. That's my poet expression tonight. I really wanted to pick up the guitar, but I don't have time. But do I? No. One verse? Come on. Yeah? One verse of one of Uncle Archie's songs, and then I'm out of here. Okay? Can I have a chair? Yeah. Because my little Moomba's getting a bit narrow. And bring that mic down a bit. Yeah. This song's pretty important to me because, you know, I look after Eben and Amos now, after the funeral. I was with them Southern Warriors Motorcycle Club for a bit of a celebrity there too, but, you know, sometimes Creator intervenes and changes your plans in a heartbeat. That's what happened in this country. Uncle Banjo told me before the children went away, life is good, yeah. Not like it is today. Little spirit dancing there, and the tree was looking after little spirit dancing there. Among this sweet laughter, days weeping our forest. Oh, now that our children have gone, and the trees at night, they get no rest, 'cause 'cause they was there when the children were born. Oh, oh, ooh. Ooh. Oh, 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 ooh. La, da. Second verse. Uncle, let me, Uncle Banjo, fly away with you and let me see the things you see. Children laughing as children do, as they play among the trees. Oh, still there's weeping in our forests. Now that the children have gone, and the trees at night get no rest, 'cause they were there when we was old. When we was born, and so we are. La-di-da. Thank you. Yeah, I just got my right hand back after a pretty bad injury. So, but that song's pretty special to me. And for your pleasure, it's the first time I've performed at a welcome or on stage in my life. So thank you very much. So I hope that gets the heart started and compels the good thoughts tonight. And as we acknowledge our old people and all Aboriginal people on this land, our bright future together, and acknowledge the heaviness of the past that continues to haunt us, injure, and prevent relationship of all kinds, where love lives. So as a great member of Barrack's family, I'd like to say Wamanjika welcome to everyone here tonight. We all celebrated his 200th birthday today up at Hillsville. And happy Wurundjeri week. And you guys have a great night tonight. It was a pleasure to get a parking spot right out the front. in the ute that I got out of my stolen gin money. So. Okay. Have a great night. Womanjooga.
Uncle Ringo, thank you so much for that amazing welcome to country. You really did get the heart started, mine at least anyway. It stopped a couple of times during that performance as well, really plugged at those strings, and it was an amazing tribute to Uncle Archie. Did anyone? Amazing, deadly. One thing that I really appreciated about that as well was these specific little things that you mentioned as well. You touched on the recent past. You spoke about the bright future, but you also mentioned joy as well. And I think, blackfellas, that's what we're about, is we're about joy, we're about love, we're about happiness. And we're about sharing and giving. So thank you so much, Uncle Ringo, for that incredible welcome. So my name is Bibi Oliver. I am Bardi Jawi, and it's my incredible, humble honour to be your host this evening, but I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I've only got 2 stage appearances, so that's going to make it easy for me. But I still can't find my notes. But welcome to the Poetry Month Victorian Gala, co-presented by Red Room Poetry and the Wheeler Centre. And of course, this year's theme is Future Epic. And I think that ties in even more nicely with the things that Uncle Ringo was talking about as well. I'm going to read something small of my own. And I know that the theme was Future Epic, and I thought I'd try to put a different spin on things, but this is from my book, More Than These Bones, FYI. When I think of future, when I think of epic, I think of maternity and I think of my matriarchs, and they are timeless, they are eternal, they are my past, my now, and my future as well. So this one is called Almond Latte, and it's a little dedication that I wrote after my grandmother's passing. My grandmother showed me a world of strength through her eyes where all things were good, right, and sincere. She taught me fortitude. Mostly, she taught me love. And then I said goodbye to her, as if we were 2 people who'd met in a cafe, shared a lifetime of stories and left wanting more, but knowing someday we'd meet there again. Thank you, and I'm going to now introduce this incredible lineup of writers and speakers and creators that we have tonight, and I'll start with Elijah Money, who was a Wiradjuri queer brother boy who was raised on Kulin Nations where he continues to reside. He has a broad multidisciplinary creative practice which spans from visual art, writing, creative producer, workshop host, MC, drag queen, and more. Put your hands together for Elijah Money. Not yet. I'll introduce all of them at once, but after I give their bios, make them feel welcome, make them feel deadly like they are. Grace Yee is the author of Chinese Fish, winner of the Victorian Prize for Literature, the Victorian Premier's Literary Award for Poetry, and the Mary and Peter Biggs Award for Poetry, Ockham New Zealand Book Awards. Her work has been widely published and anthologised across Australia and internationally. Give it up for Grace. Thabani Tshuma is a multi-award-winning Zimbabwean writer and performance poet. He is co-curator of Thin Red Lines, and his debut collection, The Gospel of Unmade Creation, was released in 2023 through Recent Work Press. Give it up for Thabani. Emilie Collyer is I had to say to Emilie, is it Collyer or Collyer? There's something about the Collyer that makes it so nice. Beautiful name altogether, is a poet and playwright. Her poetry collection, Do You Have Anything Less Domestic, released by Vagabond Press in 2022, won the inaugural Five Islands Poetry Prize, and she came runner-up in the 2024 Gwen Harwood Poetry Prize. Her writing is widely published in Australia and internationally, and she recently completed a PhD at RMIT researching feminist creative practice. Emilie Collyer. Ouyang Yu is an award-winning poet and novelist. He's published a staggering number of books, more than 146 of them, and that's been fact-checked, in English and Chinese. His honours include winning the South Australian Festival Award for Innovation in Writing, the New South Wales Premier's Award, the Judith Wright Calanthe Award in the Queensland Literary Awards. I'm running out of breath. Being shortlisted for the Writers' Prize and the Melbourne Prize for Literature, and a fellowship from Creative Australia. His most recently published books are the novels All the Rivers Run South, The Sun at 8 or 9, and the short story collection The White Cockatoo Flowers. Give it up for Ouyang. Mitch McTaggart is one of this year's Poetry Month ambassadors. Mitch has been involved in media production for 15 years. While cutting his teeth, not literally, directing TVCs and teaching at Deakin University, he also wrote and produced television comedy for Channel 31, ABC, SBS Binge, as the writer-producer of the Orgie-winning The Last Year of Television and The Backside of Television. Give it up for Mitch McTaggart. Izzy Roberts-Orr is a poet and arts worker. Her debut collection, Raw Salt by Vagabond 2024, was the recipient of a Wheeler Centre Hot Desk Fellowship, Martin Bequest Scholarship, and longlisted for the Colorado Prize for Poetry. She is creative producer for Red Room Poetry. Give it up for Izzy. And I hope you're all wearing some sunglasses for her sparkly outfit that she's going to get up on stage in as well. And finally, the Orbweavers are Marita Dyson and Stuart Flanagan, multidisciplinary artists working in songwriting, music, performance, and visual art. They have released 4 studio albums, 15 singles, and created commissioned works for cultural organisations, film, ABC TV and radio, and performed at festivals across the country. Their latest album, New Moon, Silver Moon, is out now through Mistletoe. Give it up for the Orbweavers. But first of all, give it up again for my brother boy, Elijah Money.
Thank you so much. I'm really glad that everyone got to have a bit of a giggle at my punked edition. It was not my time, and that's okay. I've made peace. Thank you so much, Uncle Ringo, if you're still here. That was such a beautiful welcome. Hey! So gorgeous, beautiful singing, and what a warm, generous way to start the evening. Thank you. Yeah, I'm so excited to be here tonight. It's so flash. Last time I was reading at the Wheelers Centre was about 6 years ago. And I was really fortunate to be opening for Alison Whittaker's Black Work. I know, bit of a name drop. Couldn't help myself. I was like, I'll tie it in there somehow. But yeah, in response to this year's theme of futurism epic, which is such a fun, anyway, very fun, very flirty. I took a slightly different spin. Similar to Bibi, in order to go forward, I went back a little bit. And I'm going to start, I'm like, serious first? Yeah, let's go serious first, and then we can go have a little hee-hee-ha-ha. So this is called Tied Up. I wrote this as part of a creative workshop that I was part of, Black Marks. And yeah, it was gorgeous. It was great. I'm really, really stoked to have been part of it. You'll also have to excuse me. I've been recovering from a cough for about 3 months. So, just to keep everyone on their toes, just in case you were wondering. So tied up. Strung by seemingly soft, gently woven yarn, displaced daily. Whiteness full and fertile, peering from its high perch. Strangled freedom, clipped wings, fruitful of colour, future joys. The great Australian silence, a normalised secret, national shame. Which nation, bub? Black egg, fertility. Fuck your second wave feminism. These white women exonerating their contraceptive fight, well done, doctor. Doubting these woke warriors could even conceptualise that black and brown women were fighting for their rights to exist 1967 referendum. Odd 15 to 20 years before that, proposed sterilisation, to be added into fresh, cooling, healing, less polluted waterways. Good one, ghostly gubbers. That string slowly creeping, filling up, ripping up, non-certified organic, big tree root systems. More like immediate urgent weeds, vines, like them ones that, they host and cradle all these like venomous, poisonous pods. I've been trying to get rid of them for years, my God. They always end up coming back. You know the ones, right? Wish, at least, that asphyxiating, excruciating white string would surely please bring us back together, take us back home together. Home, non-homogeneous, home together. Thank you. It's 5 to 7, and I'm trying to figure out if I do have time for another. Yeah, great. Stunning, bloody love it. Okay, beautiful. So, this one requires maybe 60 seconds of context. It was some years ago, and I was at a pub, and there was live music happening, and it was pretty uncommon for... God, I'm sounding really old. I swear I'm young. It was, maybe also 7 years ago. God, it's not that long ago, is it? 7 years ago when acknowledgements of country... especially for music or live interactions in social spaces, weren't as commonplace as they are today. Great development, loving that. And so there was this white band, and they were doing an acknowledgement of country, and I was stoked, and I was like, woo! And then I had this really unfortunate interaction with this white woman who shushed me and told me to be quiet and to be respectful. And even thinking about it, I'm like shaking, I'm like, seething, so angry. And I was like, this is a celebration, blah, blah, blah. So as a response, I aggressively finished my beer and went and sat in a corner and with my little notebook, and I furiously wrote this down, and I still think I think it slaps. So this is called White Woman. Shocking. White woman. You do not get to police me. You do not get to tell me how I can and cannot react and interact at any point at all points. You are not allowed to tell me to be quiet. You are not allowed to command my actions. You do not have this power. I refuse to give you the right to colonize my words and actions, white woman. White woman, learn your place. This is not one of them. This land is not one of them. You are a guest. You benefit off stolen lands and have never had sovereignty ceded. You are gluttonous, yet have the audacity, caucasity if you will, that you have any weight in telling me of what I can and cannot do, taking autonomy away from my sacred body, sacred voice. White woman, you are mistaken if you think that your faux political correctness can affect how I interact with my own Aboriginality, my identity. Scarce are your morals and scarce are your thoughts. Scarce is your knowledge of me. My position, my place, my standing. Sit down, be quiet, and teach yourself. Thank you so much. This has been a delight. Thank you so much, and what a deadly night we've got ahead of us. So good. Thank you so much and can't wait. Yay for the other readers. Woo!
I have two poems. The first one is addressed to a future me, and it's titled, How to Launch a Poem. How to launch a poem. 1. Recall democracy is pretty numbers and orange clusters, strategically bold and critically wet, intemperate type C photographs. 2. Advanced stagger, inkjet-laboured nested griefs and hybrid animals, radio waves and gaze detail, yellow tableau and Charlie Foxtrot figments, clusterfucks. 3. Shoot east, shoot west, strike a pose, team, Prada, preoccupy with nightlights, sex and billboards, sex on billboards, belled skirts and waisted chaste. 4. Grand scale the food you eat, the way you eat, the hell you eat, immaterial bread in a hot desk metropolis come umbrage, huff, shirt front a superpower. 5. Manipulate sewer systems, decompress anime in cinematic frames, long exposures, far-flung procrastinations. 6. Tilt abs, beams, and lunar grief, levitate laundry lists, fold and stack. 7. Dispense the demerits of your own internal terrain, drain, simulate the passing of witnesses, chrome, crack seizures, flicker. 8. Suck sea garbage, disorient the landscape, portrait horizons, harvest documents, document contemplations, posture downward dog and driverless. 9. Swing equanimity, aviate the neighbourhood, tourniquet technologies and all judicial glosses, glow. 10. Headlight corridors, tunnel, frugal, agitate outages and provisional liminal pipes, frack cooking, cleaning, stroking, weed. 11. Foul the sounds of brooks and birds. 12. Keep the glue gun loaded and the bones cool and dense. Collate fruit and unbreakable eggs. Texturise melamine, unsheath by the side of the road, surveil. 13. Laminate absurdities, bait ceilings and subfloor spaces, fibrillate the past, box the light there, salt the snow. No more preschool, baby. My poetic practice requires periodic sips of rescue, resuscitated drift, glycerine cocoons, stanzas of childbearing in rooms of equal conviction, Epsom salts and quiet Fridays, no jars of mare or party gummies, no cystic alienations, no unnatural breath or bigotry or beef, no astringent grave affect, but vanishing on waking, capes. Thank you. And the second poem is from my book, Chinese Fish. It was the only really future-oriented poem I could find in that book, Izzy. So this is when the family arrive in Aotearoa, New Zealand, and it's from the section titled Paradise. or Tautahi, the Garden City. Robert is at the airport looking like Stan with less hair and the same stubby baby cheek-poking fingers. They pile into the Holden, Stan in the front, Ping at the back, baby Cherry in her arms. The two brothers talk trout fishing and old friends. Ping scans the streets for people. It's night, and all that can be seen are the black roll of flatlands, coniferous shadows, rows of squat box bungalows, roofs pitched low. Their home is sugar pink brick at the end of a long gravel drive, front door shadowed by an apple tree. Ping steps out into a million-starred hush. No traffic horns, sizzling woks, banging cleavers, clacking mahjong tiles. No hoiking, squabbling, squawking, singing. 7:30 in the evening, her kitten heels sinking in the dew-soaked lawn. The whole world asleep. Thank you.
I've done this before. Howdy, folks. Thanks to everyone. Lineup is positively stacked. I have a couple poems. One's a little silly, a little goofy. When I think of future epic, I think of time as a currency, as a fluid, as something tangible that we feel and live. So this is something about time that's a little silly and a little nerdy, because that's me. It's called Whovian. I am a time traveler. Well, technically, I used to be, and I suppose subsequently will be. Time, you see, can be elusively convoluted or confusing, especially when you put unnecessary emphasis on tenses. Henceforth, to relieve tension and avoid confusion, I'll remain fixed in my present representation, wherein, as aforementioned, I am a time traveler. And although this is happening now for you, for me, this moment has come and gone and been a reminiscent shadow of a half-forgotten scene, repetitively played out in my sprawling temporal layout. I could prove it and submit a few predictions. However, after time, you start to lose the predilection to tell knowledge of the future justifying your existence. You'll be insistent. I know. But as history does show, these things have a way of repeating themselves. These things have a way of repeating themselves. These things have a way of repeating myself. Meeting myself was a particularly weird one, both existentially and strangely, subliminally, but ultimately uncritically and narratively redundant. My doctor recommended against it, but who really follows suggestions? Turns out me hated myself. I was a little indifferent. The collective we are really quite narcissistic. I mean, all of time and space, and I spend most of it finding myself. The futility of power is it puts us back where we began, but I digress. As I said, I am a time traveler. I have lived. I've seen it all, done it all, savored centuries and seconds, and yet the anachronistic paradox is that none of it has happened yet. And it's already happened. And please never forget, it's happening right now. Thank you. And this next piece is from the book that I always accidentally match. It's a thing. Like Uncle Ringo said, we can't talk about the future without the past. So this is about the past and the future, I suppose. It's called Nanga, which in my culture is like a traditional healer, witch doctor, for context. Who made the meaning? Who gave the meaning? Who changed the meaning? The search for more was meaningless. They told them God was dead. They called him devil instead. They called her witch. Doctored history as we remember it, the books bear little semblance to the truth. You, I remember you. Silver tongue dripping in sacred sooth, cave drawn in stone-walled scrawlings, whistled as a vision of the future present, a monotheistic past. Greetings to Adzimu, the ancestors. You were us before we became we, before the social schism to them, before me. I died and met a trickster deity. He wore my face in jest, had spider limbs for legs, and my lifespan wound as web, all so sickly, sticky as silk spun thread, as a memory in remembrance of forgetting as a child, bastardized at birth, a sun eclipsed by the moon of a new God, a so-called one true God. I am not made in his image. What was theirs and what was ours? What was light and what was stars? Who made the meaning? Who gave the meaning? Who changed the meaning? History favors the hunter and not the hunted. I will be unapologetic in incantation, in a tongue before speech could seek throat, a guttural roar on golden plains, the loose lip that slipped the chains to reclaim the oral capacity to see through the blinding opacity, to cast a new truth, to make the meaning, to take the meaning, to give the meaning, to change the meaning, to be all that we were meant to be, and more. Thank you.
Hello everybody, what an amazing night to be part of. Thank you incredible poets and artists, thank you Uncle Ringo. Yeah, the future is hard, isn't it? So I think we're all kind of being a bit fluid in our interpretation, and me too. But yeah, certainly that trajectory of past, present, future, and how all these are always operating on a trajectory at the same time. This first poem is the final poem in my book, Do You Have Anything Less Domestic? And it is called With the Fishes. Ooh, cling, cling. Okay. The terracotta warriors are visiting Melbourne. China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, had them made as guardians of immortality, part of his quest to cheat death and become a god. Queues to see the warriors snake out of the gallery around the rectangular pool so many use as a wishing well. In towns all over the east of this country, people are lining up for water rations. The Murray-Darling River system is floundering. Months after the death of millions of fish, nobody can say for sure what happened or whose fault it was. Murray cod, silver perch and bony brim corpses washed up on banks, floated in the barely flowing rivers and lakes. When I was a kid, we ate smoked cod on Good Friday, a reminder about Jesus and sacrifice. Slow cooked, butter and salty, the memory tastes slippery like childhood. Scrape of forks on the good china, holding the flesh in my mouth. Legend has it that Qin Shi Huang imbibed mercury, hoping for an eternal life elixir, but it killed him. To prevent panic at his unexpected end, hide the stink, his body was transported in a cart surrounded by rotting fish. Today, the whiff of death lingers. A woman interviewed says her home along the river now smells permanently like a fish market, a vast stench hiding something dead that we can't quite name or look at yet. 8,000 statues built over 36 years by 70,000 workers. I try and picture the daily labour, underground, toil of hands, a life spent building one man's legacy. The warriors were unearthed 2 centuries later by farmers digging a field. Stones roll, saviours rise. Our push for permanence runs deep. Hubris to think we can outwit the end, play God with what we're given, bend nature to our will. Eyes on the miraculous or apocalyptic horizon. How about this? By a lake or river, cup water in your hand. Could you drink it? Would you want to? And if not, what then? Thanks. Thank you. And the second piece is a little more sassy, but still is about time and place, and it ends with a slightly speculative note as well. It's called Totally 80s Friday. Atomic by Blondie plays on the replacement bus. Joe Bobolino is valiant in his Totally 80s Friday. If the trains don't work and the bus is late, at least we can sing along. Deborah Harry gets on at Tottenham and we all try not to stare. 2 teenage boys behind me are really into ties. Yeah, I watched a YouTube video, bro. It looks good, bro. Tucked in? Yeah, tucked in. At each stop, a different guy in high-vis shouts as if he has just discovered geography. Middle Footscray! This is Middle Footscray! Findings from the Robo-Debt inquiry dropped today. Computers rang people on welfare to falsely tell them they owed money to the government. Bureaucratic tragedies spread malignant all over the country, on this train line, on this road, on this bus. I'm not nostalgic for the 80s. It was just a place I lived in for a while. But when Freddie Mercury gets on the bus, he holds us all in his glorious buck teeth, and we can't help but sigh with relief. Freddie is helping a small man who is sweating, holding shopping bags full of bread rolls. We want it all. At North Melbourne, old workers' cottages that now house double-income couples have licks of blue paint, and one has a sign that shouts, "Please don't feed our cats." We wait. Rick Astley is running to make the bus. He would never give up on us, so we owe him the same faith. An Irish woman next to me is worried short hair makes her look old. Freddie is making loaves from the small rolls. I turn to look at the boys who are looking at Freddie with adoration. We may be okay, even if we can't have it now. Deborah Harry tells the woman, "Your hair is beautiful." We all sing along. Thank you.
Explain. I let poetry speak itself, but I have to explain. I'm running out of power. It's only 10%. I have to do it very fast. Daily news for me is daily poetry because it is the source of it. This is one of them. 库尔德人穆罕默德说：“我一抵澳就被关进难民营，周围到处都是铁丝网，每天无聊得很。” 只好下棋。我想画画，就跟看守讲了，他说不行，怕你吃颜料送了命。我当时正在喝咖啡，旁边只有牙刷，有支牙刷，就把牙刷戳进咖啡杯，直接在纸上画了一笔，从此就没有停下过。关了8年，画了8年，还入围了 Archibald 肖像奖。画外音，艺术。 就是这么生成的。Let me do a self-translation instantaneously. The Kurdish person, Muhammad, said, as soon as I arrived in Australia, I was shot in a refugee camp. It was wild fence everywhere. Every day, I was very bored, so the only thing I could do is play chess. I wanted to be a painter, so I spoke to the guard. He said, no way. because we're afraid that you might die by eating the paint. I was drinking coffee at the time. There was my toothbrush. So I just stuck my toothbrush into the cup of coffee and directly started writing on the paper, and never stopped since. I was shut in for 8 years and did the painting for 8 years. And I was even shortlisted for the Archibald Prize. Voiceover. That is how art was generated. I'm not doing a lesson, but that's the way I create my poetry. I didn't write. My collaborator is my phone. I speak into the phone. It does the work by turning it into my language, my mother tongue, the Chinese, my father tongue, the English. I'll do another one here. I collaborated with a ceramic artist last year. I watched him do his work, and I watched others do their work, and I did that afterwards. 制陶师的几个特点：泥一大坨泥，要用线割放上去后，下面的轮子是要不停转动的。无论做什么形状的器皿，总是要先让那坨泥耸立起来，像勃起的阳具，然后转成各种形状的东西。从来没有图纸，根本不知道他想做什么，直到东西按他自己脑中和心中的形状成型。当然，他的双手和双手的手指不是机器所能替代的，有时会把中指插进那个非常小，同时还在转的圆洞里，令人想起交配和生殖之后生成的制品，无一不通过烧制。泥加火，心加脑，手加指，最后运成了品。Characteristics of a ceramic artist. Clay, a large chunk of it. You have to cut it with a thread. When you put it on, the wheel will keep turning underneath it. Whatever shapes of utensils you make, you have to erect that chunk of clay like an erected member. Before you turn it into things of any shape, there are never any drawings. You don't know what he's got in mind until things become shaped up according to the shapes in his mind or heart. Of course, his hands and the fingers on his hands are not replaceable by machine. Sometimes when he puts his middle finger inside that very tiny hole that is turning, he reminds one of mating and procreation. Whatever that follows has to be made through burning. Clay with fire, heart with mind, hands with fingers, before birth is given to the product. Thank you so much.
Hello. So that's me. This piece has kind of come out of having done TV work, writing about TV history and thinking about where we're going to end up with all of that in the future. And it's called, In the Event of Apocalypse, Remember TV. There's Australian TV content that you've never heard of, sitting in archives, collecting whatever the digital equivalent of dust is, probably never to be watched again. But they're there, little pieces of ourselves, not lost, but hiding. A snapshot of our culture, our spirit, and I assume our casual sexism. An archive is only truly effective or worth it if society has the means to access it later. So, 1,000 years from now, will we know what a digi-beta tape is? Will we understand WMV compression? A lot of people don't really understand it currently, which is a little joke for video editors there. And obviously, I'm scared of nuclear war, largely because it'll wipe out our TV history. And is Australian TV bomb-proof? Judging by 2006's Let Loose Live, no. It's fascinating which content makes it into eternal preservation. I'd like to meet the person who submitted, as well as the archivist who accepted, Alan Jones Live. A 1994 Channel 10 phone-in talkback show so bad that the press noted that it made SBS ratings look respectable. But old TV can reveal things about us, like how little we knew. Endless ads for personal soaps in the 1960s all praised the benefits of hexachlorophene. Then we discovered in the 70s that long-term use might have caused some light brain damage. Oopsie. Conversely, old TV can show us how much we did know but ignored. Science and Tech news magazine, Beyond 2000, did a climate crisis special, highlighting all the same things we're now debating, politicising, but in 1989. Mind you, they did also say one day computers will have more than a gigabyte of RAM, which is not incorrect, but still. As time goes on, older TV becomes a disjointed, surreal curiosity because we're increasingly unmoored, untethered from the world that birthed it. The topical satire of 1977's The Naked Vicar Show is alien now. Or perhaps it's just that comedy and culture inexorably evolves. Unlike Hey Hey It's Saturday's penchant for the word poof. Yeah. So I hope that 2,000 years from now, when the country is a desolate wasteland, someone can access our television, warts and all, and come across Alan Jones Live. And even without the context of 1994, they're still able to look at it and go, Jesus, this show is rubbish. Thank you.
Wow. I'm absolutely floored by tonight's event. Thank you, Uncle Ringo. Thank you, BB. Thank you, poets. I've got a couple of poems for you. I made this really hard on myself too because my book is all about the past. Lol. This one's called Death, after Donald Ravel. Death is always too late or too early. Stargazing, beachcombing interloper. Death will lick your face and kiss your toes, then drift away to the window. Death has been painting my portrait for 30 years. Every time I ask what I look like, she winks coyly and says, "You'll see." Lately, it's been just death and me, basking in the gamut of green, with our bodies splayed in the sun after rain. Death, I say, you smell like home, like salt, earth and bone, like a vast ocean in a blood-wet stone. Death and me, we go on long walks and don't talk. This is, I think, a little more hopeful. I'm not sure. You tell me. It's called Trees Like These, after Adrienne Rich. I know where all the best trees in my neighbourhood are, and I circle the block, nodding at them, and they nod back at me, gum leaves bopping in the breeze. Your doom clock does not touch the trees. That is a lie. Of course it does. It touches everything. But maybe it does not touch the trees in the same way. Every story of a tree dying is a story of our own slow dying. Still, they grow in impossible places. Still, they make new leaves and shed them again. Still, somehow, miraculously, they talk to each other. Mycorrhizal networks mapping where the good sun shines, sending sugar along for those they love. Still, they make room for bees and clutch gently the swift wattlebirds and take the sun's rays and turn them green with chlorophyll and take the dead air from your lungs and let you breathe again.
I love poetry so much, and tonight is one of those billions of reasons why I do love poetry so much. Thank you so much to all of our incredible artists tonight. Can we give them all another round of applause? We are almost at the end. I do want to acknowledge the diversity, the power and strength of all of our speakers and writers tonight. I also want to give a personal shout out to Mitch's suit. Oh my God. A shout out as well to the Wheeler Centre for hosting us tonight and to Red Room Poetry for producing tonight. I'm also going to shout out Readings, who are up the back, and they are selling all of the books by tonight's writers, not all 146 of Ouyang's, but there are lots of books down the back, so if you want to go and buy one, and if you want to get one of the writers to sign one, you're going to have to try to corner them for more than 30 seconds. I'm going to read a quick little piece. It's called Yee and Ouyang Yu, and in my language of Bardi Jawi, Yee and Ouyang Yu means a coming together of the spirit. You could most closely resemble it to your gut instinct. I'll kiss my family goodbye. I'll put distance between us time after time, but I'll carry them with me within my heart, my mind, and my stomach. I don't live in this world alone, because they are the world which lives deep within me. Now, I don't like spiders, I'm an arachnophobe, but here are two Orbweavers which I can sit and watch all night. Give it up for Marita and Stuart, the Orbweavers, and thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night. And I hear along the grapevine as well that there is a get-together after this down at the Moat. Izzy is shouting, so if you want to join the writers there, you're more than welcome.
Good evening. I'm really humbled to be here and to listen to all those beautiful words from all the poets. Stuart and I write songs mainly about things that we've experienced, places that we live. So we're going to play a song for you tonight that we've been playing for a long time and thinking about the theme of future epic. It's about a place where the Birrung and the Maribyrnong River and Mooney Mooney chain of ponds, Mooney Ponds Creek, all gather together in a confluence where they all meet kind of under where the Westgate Bridge is on beautiful Wurundjeri Woiwurrung country. And we're really humbled and grateful to live on beautiful Wurundjeri Woiwurrung country, and so humbled to hear Uncle Ringo play this guitar and his welcome. And thinking about Gunawarra, the black swans that swim all down those rivers. And I'm a descendant of settlers who have benefited from the theft of these lands. And in living in this city, in Naarm, Melbourne, and drawing from the beautiful water that flows down from the mountains, the beautiful rivers that I get to see when I'm travelling to work on the train or driving over the Westgate Bridge, and knowing that this is not my land, and I'm incredibly grateful to be here. So this song is about returning home. I grew up for a long time in Yarraville in the 80s and 90s, near the Westgate Bridge. And then I got a job when I was 25 back again at the sewage pumping station. And I was pleased to hear references to drains and sewage tonight, references to webs and spiders and the things that connect us, the things that draw us back, things that are sticky, things that are stick there in your mind for a long time. And I always find myself returning back to the same places, thinking about the past and the future. So I guess this song is drawing on water as a flowing thread through the past and the present and into the future. You tuned up, ready to go? But am I? It's called Spotswood. Down by the river where the factories lie, and the west gate stretches across the sky. I've lived north and I've moved south, but I always return to the river mouth. Out from the city, all the secrets pour through the pipes that were laid 100 years ago. Love and ruin in the straining wells, rags and bodies and teeth and gold. Ooh, 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 ooh. A woman of science in the tower above, her laboratory, a labor of love. There she worked while the war raged on, never to marry or she'd lose it all. Ooh. When I was young, I never knew that I'd be brought back here to you. No stranger thing than how we're drawn back to the place from which we're born. Ooh, Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Thank you.
you.